All right, here we go. What's up, guys? I know it's been a little while since we've done one of these before. I've been kind of in and out of town the last couple of weeks, but I'm back and I'm going to start doing more of these. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Glad you're here. Just so you know what we do here, I teach you everything that I know. I want you to, become a better trader. I don't want you to round trip. I want you to buy things that are undervalued. These are the things that I try to do myself. So what we're going to go over today, I wanted to show you some things, and we'll go over some of the posts that I made on X recently. Of course, I haven't done too many. I don't believe it's necessary just to post every single day unless you have something important to say. So let me just go over a few of these things, and then I'm going to get into the other things that we're going to go into. We are going to look at Nansen, by the way. Go into Nansen and look at what smart money is buying, and we'll see if we can find some tokens that are good values. I also want to show you our Discord, because we have a list of tokens that we have researched. They have docs teams, whatever it may be, and we feel like these are some of the best tokens to be in. Some will 10x, 20x, 30x. Some we think will even do more than 100x. And remember, we are the group that found swarms early. This was a pump fund token that ended up pumping, I actually forgot what it was, Swarms token. At its peak, it was pretty high. So it went from basically nothing for like a 200x run, and we found it before it did any of this move. So I'm gonna get into that as far as what our Discord can offer you. But I'm also gonna show you things to where, if you just wanna do it on your own, do your own research, I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's just get into this. Where if you look here's those alert channels, but I'll get into that here in a second. This was back on December 19th when swarms first showed up. So first, what is it? Mantra chain, Mantra OM token, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why people round tripped this one. I don't know why people bought this one so late. It was kind of the elephant in the room over the last couple of days, because it pumped really hard. And then all of a sudden it crashed, and people are wondering why it crashed. Well, this is part of that learning curve, and I don't mean to diminish anyone out there that actually purchased this late or maybe round tripped it, whatever. What I mean to show you is that, even if you don't use an indicator like Engineering Robo, which there is a 7-day free trial right here. If you go to Bike for Sale, and it's this first post you see, you do get a 7-day trial here if you want to check it out. But if you bought this thing way down here at the very bottom, if you were fortunate enough, and you rode it up 300x, what are you doing? Why are you holding something for a 300x and not taking profits? So just remember, smart money tends to take money out as price appreciates. They don't take money out when it dips. And the same thing, they're buying when it dips. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say to buy this, just because when something has a big dip like this, after a huge move, like a 300x move, you really don't want to be buying it, because there's probably more correction to come. Usually these do like a 99% correction at least, or it just goes sideways for a long time. So, this thing could even, correct. It's at least going to correct 50%. They almost do. And this isn't financial advice, the usual thing. I'm not a financial advisor or any of that. I'm just giving you my take on this and what I see from my years of experience. And I have been doing this since 2017, and I started in stocks. So I do have the experience. Even if you were buying this as price went up, anywhere in here, if you make a 10x, a 15x, 20x, whatever, you really should be taking profits. You could be honest with yourself and say, yeah, I really should have been taking some profits on that. So, if somebody was in this position on any token, learn from your mistakes is number one. And next time you won't round trip. So don't be too greedy. People that were buying up here were very greedy, because it had already done a 200x. Anybody buying way up here at 300x was extremely greedy. They were FOMOing in. It just wasn't worth it at that point. Imagine if this thing went to 100x and then it went to 300x after that. Well, what is that from 100x to 300x? That's only a 3x. So, you really want to find things that are heavily discounted. That's what I suggest. That's what I do. And I'm going to talk about a few of those tokens, but I can't give you all of them, because those are for our members in our Discord. And the Discord link is below if you do want to join us. So, check that out, or the engineering robo link for the 7-day free trial, or the Nansen 10% off. I'm going to show you a lot of Nansen today as well. So we're going to keep this under an hour. Let me just talk about Bitcoin really quick. This was, when did I post this? This was April 12th, so that was 4 days ago. This blue line here, which everybody's following it now, we were actually following it before the masses started talking about it. This is global liquidity. This is my own lag. You have to set up a lag to where the line matches up the best. I found that this is the best match for the line. So you can see this pretty much followed it. And when I talk about a lag, you have to, I think I have this set to 52-week lag or something like that on a 2-day chart. And I've just found that it looks the best to me. Now, it doesn't mean that price action is necessarily going to follow it perfectly. I mean, you can look right here. Yeah, it went up with this one, but if it's going to follow it perfectly, then why didn't this peak way out up here? So even though we're coming down and it looks pretty similar here with a double bottom, could even put in I don't know if that's a lower sweep there, if that's just like maybe that's the double bottom there if it was to happen. I mean, this is close enough that, it's either a bullish divergence because this low here is higher than that low. But, this could still happen is my point. So what we're looking at currently, if you just, memorize what that looks like, here's what it looks like now. So there is a little peak in it right there, and then it comes down one more time. This doesn't have to happen though. I mean, this could start going up from this point. So I really don't know. It's kind of 50-50 right now. We think that this could still happen in our group. I do have a couple charting experts in our group that help me out. And I am going to show you a little clip. Actually, I may just go ahead and show you that clip right now after we talk about Bitcoin here. But the thing is, a lot of people thought that the bull run was done, right? A lot of people were bear posting and said that was it. Who knows what their reasons were for that? Maybe they really thought it was. But I can tell you, based on the indicators, here's some Nansen indicators. It says we're still in a bull market. There's only about 9% of all altcoins that are bullish right now if you look at CoinGecko, and that's on a 30-day over 360-day cross. And here's what it looks like if you were to look at it here. It's this purple line right there. So the purple line is way down here in the extreme fear area or the heavily discounted area. And if we look at, if you go to CMC fear greed, you can see that the fear is still. Let me just bring it up here. There we go. So the fear double bottom. So, if you're going to say, okay, if this gets up into extreme greed and that's a great place to take profits, then why wouldn't the opposite be true? Why wouldn't you say, okay, well, if it's in extreme fear, if it's in this red area, wouldn't that be a great time to buy? And of course it is. I mean, you've got to put aside all of the external factors, going on to X and doom scrolling. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Use your own indicators, whether it's, something like this, where it's a sentiment indicator, or if it's something like, looking at how many tokens are bullish currently. So if there's very little alts that are bullish and you feel like we're still in a bull market, then all this indicates to you is that you're getting a great deal, right? I mean, you're able to buy for value. If we look at a lot of these indicators, like on cbbi.info, this has to get up into the 90 range, I believe, before, yeah. So the CBBI confidence typically has peaked out well above 90. I think this one got up to 93 maybe. No, it got up to 96, yeah. And we have not, I think 80 is the most. Well, we got to 89 right here, and of course that was last year. So let's see, that was 86. So that was 86 on February 1st. So in my opinion, we still have more upside to go. It has to at least to get above 90, and that's all of these indicators put together that kind of give you the overall, view of whether or not the market has topped out. Pi cycle indicator has not crossed. You get a cross every time when you're at the top. This has always happened. Have to personally, for myself anyway, I have to assume that this is going to happen again because historically it has. You've got price action that has fallen below this, this 111-day simple moving average. Same thing happened here. It fell under here a couple of times, even right here as it moved up. So, everything still looks, even back here in 2013, 2012, it fell below that for a little bit. So, everything still looks fine to me. The MVRV score, which is kind of included in this one, so it's not as important, but this is not peaked as it has every time here either. Doesn't mean it has to get into the red area. It could just maybe hit up here at the 6 or so, but they're just, the highest it's gotten is like a 3.3. So, I think it has higher to go still. Bitcoin dominance continues to just go crazy. It's going to turn around eventually. It's in the overheated area on the RSI, so I think we will see that. Let me see what the weekly looks like. Yeah, the weekly's starting to give you these bearish divergences, price going up while RSI comes down. I was looking at the monthly right there. The monthly's always going to look a little bit different because it lags. So you got ETH, Bitcoin pair, it's coming right down into here into the, I had support up here at one point, thinking it would probably hold there, but it hasn't. So it looks like it's going for a double bottom. And once that happens, it'll start reversing back up. Okay, so let me just play you this quick clip. Let me find it here. This is by one of our experts in our group, and it's regarding TAO. This entire video, by the way, is about an hour long, but it is full of information that will help you, buy tokens at the right price point, sell them. We've got targets that we're looking at as well. So if you are interested in our Discord, definitely be sure to take advantage. This could only last 2 or 3 months as far as the pump. I don't know how long it's going to last. It could extend into October. So you're going to get a lot of value from our Discord. We're going to help you prepare for this next pump, which isn't very far away. So I would, even if you just stay for a month, I would suggest you at least check it out. It's going to help you a lot to find tokens that are going to be ready to move, that are at heavy discounts, and you'll maximize your profits that way. So let's play this.
So anywhere between this range here would be a great buy for those that are looking to buy. But as of right now, we're still looking at a 10x return for TAO.
Okay, so that was just a quick excerpt, just a quick clip. And there's much more there. She covers like 20 different altcoins. Let me see. She's got a list here somewhere. There it is right there. So she's got a full list here that she goes over. If you want to take that and just run with it, that's fine. But if you want to know what our targets are, where to accumulate, that sort of thing, then you would have to join the Discord, and then you would be able to go here to her Signal channel and click on this video right here, and you'd find that out. She did a recent video about Bitcoin as well. So we do updates all the time. We want to keep people informed in our group. And usually we have like at least one live stream per week to keep people, informed on things like that. And we also have this long-term plays channel right here, where all of these tokens are listed, and we even have saved charts that you can go on and see what the target is and that sort of thing. Okay, so let's get into Nansen here, and let me show you kind of what we're looking at on the large caps to begin with. I know a lot of you, you may want to jump into large caps first because you think they're going to move before everything else. If you go to CoinMarketCap here, and you just start looking from a market cap perspective what the highest ones are, and you think, okay, well, once the market starts moving again, you got Bitcoin will move, then ETH, and XRP and that sort of thing. And usually it does happen that way, but not always. We had some times last year where it seemed like it was mostly memes that were moving, right? So you could just do it this way and look for the higher caps if you were looking for that. But the easier way to do it is to subscribe to Nansen. And there, like I said, there is a 10% discount in the description below this video. And you can go in here and you can click, well, first of all, you can choose which chains you want. But this is on-chain data. You can actually see what smart money is buying in real time, and it will help you make an informed decision, because smart money, they're labeled smart money for a reason in Nansen. They're the top maybe over the last 7 days, 30 days, 180 days, they're the top traders within that time period. So they may be like a short-term trader or a long-term trader, but what you want to look for is smart money activity. So we've got like Aave here over the last 7 days. You could even go down to 5 minute if you wanted to and see what they're buying within a 5 minute view. But you can see here that 4 smart money traders purchased Aave within the last 7 days. And you could turn it off if you wanted to, but smart money is going to give you a lot more information than just regular retail. What's another one? So we've got 3 smart money buys for ONDO, which is another great one. ONDO is a high cap. Jupe is another great one. 3 smart money buys there, and you'll even see the net flow. So Nansen they're just constantly improving. Their devs are always on top of things. If there's any problems with the system, or maybe there's some kind of user request, they're always going to consider that. And they've really beefed this up. I mean, it's just night and day from what it was a year ago. So you can imagine, they'll keep improving as things go on. They really do want to be the #1 smart money platform, and I believe they already are, but they are striving to do that every day. So yeah, I mean, I think these are great high caps to consider, like Jupe. What did I say? ONDO. I mean, I would say those 2 if I was going to choose to. Let me just see what the second page shows us. So this is market cap over $1 billion. Oh yeah, Render, that's another good one. Pepe is probably another good one. I need to look at the chart though. So just going back to this, just so you understand, this is positive net flow for this. What is it? FO. I haven't looked at this one yet. This one's called FO, and it's got 71,000 in positive net flow. If we go up to 30 days, we'll see more net flow information. So Link has been heavily purchased by 9 different smart money traders over the last 30 days. Aave does have 10 over the last 30 days. So here's your ones that are positive net flow. And you can imagine that these are very strong tokens because, it's from a smart money standpoint anyway, because the market hasn't been great, really. The fear out there has caused people to just sit on their hands and be complacent. And this is not the time to be complacent. I mean, if there are tokens that you want, you need to be buying them. This is my opinion, not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. However, if it were me and I had a list of tokens that I wanted, which I don't really go over 10 tokens, I try to keep under that to make it easier when it's time to sell. But if I had a list of those, then I would be going on here on Nansen and I would look at them. And so let's say if we clicked into ONDO, I'm just going to bring it up on a different page here. So I want to just look and peek under the hood, so to speak, and see what's going on with ONDO, and just see what smart money wallets are purchasing. You got a whole dashboard over here that's going to load some information for you. Yeah, there we go, right there. So over the last, how many days would this be? Yeah, so you got 7 wallets right there that are the top profit and loss traders. 7 different wallets have purchased, and that's slightly, it's about 38% above the average in the 24-hour time frame. And you're seeing this little support area right here from previous. It's coming back down to that support area now. So I would suspect you might get one more little dip, and then maybe it goes sideways a little bit and then takes off. So I would think, what is it, April, May? So end of April and into May, that's when this thing can start moving. And I'm just using ONDO as an example because it was one of the first ones that I saw. But you can actually click in. Your holders have upticked here as well. I'm not going to talk about the audit because everybody knows that this is a project that's been around for a while. Fresh wallets have actually, activity for fresh wallets is up 300%. So the thing to know about fresh wallets is sometimes whales, they don't want their activity seen. They want to try to accumulate as much as they can at the bottom. So they're going to make a fresh wallet so people can't track them as well. Nansen does a very good job of giving you wallets to track, but sometimes these fresh wallets pop up, and here's a new feature that Nansen has added. And let me just see what it says here. Yeah, it's newly created wallets with first transfers within the last 15 days during the selected time period. So these are within the last 15 days, 4.69 million. That's a 292% above average over the last 24-hour time frame. So you can tell, you don't really know who these people are, although you could do some studying and see if you could find out if this wallet has been moving tokens or money back and forth with another smart money wallet, and then you would say, okay, well, that's just a whale that's trying to stay hidden. But I mean, this is a lot of money, right? So you have to suspect there's some whales in here for sure. So there's probably some smart money wallets that just aren't smart money wallets yet, because they're brand new wallets. So you can actually click in to your smart money dashboard here, and you can see exactly who's been buying or who is holding. And Pantera Capital is a fund, Coinbase Ventures. So this is actually one of the tokens that we track in our group. And the reason for that is, if you look into it, there's clearly some very big players here. I believe I think the team may be vetted as well, but the main thing is that they've got some big backers that don't want to lose money, right? This is one of those tokens that somebody might see as a safer play if they have a lot of money and they didn't want to risk a lot. But we can look at another view here where, we can look at the last 24-hour change, see if there's anybody been buying over the last 24 hours. We can look at the last 7 days. And I think we'll get some information here on the last 7 days. There should be some, I know I noticed one or two. So here you go. This is actually one of our tagged wallets in our group. So you've got a 90-day smart trader. Their P&L over the last 90 days is 510K. That's very good, especially considering, there just hasn't been many people trading at all. It's been hard to make money. So you got a token millionaire. They got some tags here. They're a whale. They're top 100 on the link leaderboard, and their net worth is just a little bit under 2 million. Their win rate 16%, yeah, but since things have been kind of sketchy over the last 90 days, and it's been hard to make money, I wouldn't read too much into that. They've only made 4 trades, so that's a very low, a very low sample size. So anyway, over the last 7 days to 30 days, they've purchased almost 6K of ONDO. Here's another one that's purchased about 4.5K. And then you got a couple of people that have sold here. So you can look into all this. Actually, they sold all of their value over the last, 7 to 30 days, which is interesting. You can actually see here the total balance. So it's taken into account on this little chart right here at the very beginning, at the very top here. It's taken into account all of the tokens held by every single one of these wallets in total. And so you got total smart holders is 51 wallets, and total balance in all of those wallets is about 654 million tokens. And you can see it dropped significantly. What is that? It's about 125 million tokens. But interestingly enough, the amount of holders has increased. So it's really just some big players that got out, it seems like. Maybe it was some funds or something. Sometimes that would be an indication for you to sell. In this case, not necessarily, because, well, actually, that was January. So yeah, we can look at that and say, okay, if we go back and look at Bitcoin, what was it doing January 11th? Just to kind of do some quick research here for ourselves. So yeah, somewhere in here is January 11th, and that was the top. So that's what's interesting about Nansen is you don't use it just to buy. You can actually use it to sell as well. Because if you can set alerts for this as well. I did a video on alerts, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I'll put the link down below if you missed it. I'll pin it to the top to where you can watch it. But what you're looking at here is, this is the very top of Bitcoin back in January, for that top that happened, which I believe we're still in the bull market, but it was one of the tops. So we'll just call it a temporary top. And here you've got some big players that knew the dip was coming. And you're seeing here this purple line, the total balance of ONDO went way down. So they were selling it at the top. And let's just see what ONDO was doing at that time, because I think that will be interesting to kind of bring this all together. Okay, that was December. So they sold somewhere in here. Yeah, it looks like they sold kind of right in here. What you're looking at, by the way, is Engineering Robo. It's that thing that I talked about that has a 7-day free trial. It's very accurate. It's about 80 to 88% effective, especially on a daily or a 3-hour chart. I like to stick to the daily with it, but you can use it on weekly or whatever. But you can clearly see this sell signal was a great sell signal. The buy signal was a great one as well. Sideways action, you're not going to find an indicator that's going to get you in and out perfectly every time. If you go down to like a 3-hour chart, you can make some money on these sideways moves where they bounce up and down. But the majority of your money is going to be made, when these bigger moves happen, when it breaks out of a range. But all that to say this, if you want an indicator that's going to tell you when to buy and when to sell, this is the one that you want. Check the description below, do the 7-day free trial, and see if you like it. But we just looked at ONDO. These people did sell at the top. But even though they did that, maybe they sold and now they're starting to buy some back in some fresh wallets or something. You're seeing the amount of holders increase. People are starting to see value in this drop. You've got ONDO that's come down how much? From the very top, it came down, 65%? And it's mostly been sideways for a long time now, right? So I would suspect this one's going to have a nice little pump once things get going. But it could have another little dip, come back down to support, or somewhere in this range at least. So, this is one you may want to consider. But look how all this ties together, right? With Nansen, you have a lot of information at your fingertips. You can set alerts, or you can just log into it every day. Go to the Smart Money tab. You can go to balances even and see the larger balance holders, the ones that are whales that hold a ton of balance. I bet we can find the people. Let's see, I'd have to go back and find out who sold. This is just some of the research that you can do. Let me see if I can find it here for you, just so you can, see how I would have done this to find out who sold. So here we got here, here, just right here. So who bought, who sold. Let me click sold there. And we're gonna have to do a custom date range because we wanna go back. This thing only goes up to 7 days there. So let's do custom date range. We just wanna look around January, So like January 10th to the 12th maybe. And we wanna find the largest sales that were made at that point. Yeah, I think that'll work. And so we're just looking at sold. You could log into this every day and just see who was selling the most. Just jump back and forth between here. Oh yeah, that was January 9th, wasn't it? Okay. Let me get back to sold here. I'm going to expand this to where it's easier to see. My computer's a little bit slow right now. I've got a lot of windows open, so give it 1 second. There we go. Okay. So let's see. What did they sell? I'm just looking for those dates, something around maybe the 10th or 11th. There's a lot of people that were buying and selling at that point, so it takes just a few seconds to load up here. Okay, it looks like I did have it as I wanted it there. So we were looking at the biggest holders and how much they sold. Let me just get it back to the very top here. I think I clicked that. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So this person here sold the most, $543,000 worth, and they don't have any tokens remaining. So they got completely out right around that time. And this is how you can go back. Maybe you want to follow this wallet in the future. Of course, their P&L's negative, but these are the things that you can go in. This is a fresh wallet, by the way. This is what they look like. If they don't have any specific information, these wallets were recently made. But yeah, you can go through all these wallets and see, this one still holds 50%. It's a high balance wallet. A lot of information here that you can pull up. And if you just want to log in each day and see if somebody, a big player, a big whale has sold a lot of tokens in a token that you follow, and it's already done like a 10x or something, then that could indicate that maybe it's time for you to take some profits. So it's not all just about the chart. Nansen can give you a lot of information regarding that. So let's just jump back over here. I'll show you some more things. You can go to like mid caps. We'll just see some mid caps and see what's showing up over the last 30 days as far as what people are accumulating or what smart money wallets are accumulating. These are the things I want to show you. Bone, FAI. I can't remember the name of that one, but I'm sure some of you recognize it. I just can't think of it. Cow is a good one. And I'm not going to go too much into this, but you can also look over the last 7 days as well and just see, there's Mantra right there. I mean, people were buying Mantra over the last 7 days because, they were FOMOing in, which is never a good idea in my opinion. There's DSYNC. This was one that we found early 2024, and I think that one did a 40x. The only way that I found DSYNC is I was on Nansen. I was using it every day, and I found it before anybody else just about. Nobody was talking about it on Twitter. If you go back and you look and you type, this by the way is how you can look, like say if there's anybody you want to search through their X history, just type that in from : and then their username. And so right here, March 15th, 2024, I said I came across this decentralized AI DeepIn project today named Destra Network. Depending on how active they are with marketing, this one could catch fire. Smart money info and chart to follow. And then, not long after that, April 1st, I was showing that we made a 33x on it. I think it actually went up to 40x. And I was even talking about it being a resistance area at that point. So not only have I, we talk about stuff like this in our Discord all the time, but I'll also post it on Twitter sometimes as well. And I give you, free indicators that you can use as well. I do want you to succeed. But for those of you that want to get more, detailed info or quicker info from me or from our experts in our group, then you have to join our Discord to get that. But, if you don't have that money, that's fine. If you don't have the money to, do that, then just watch my Twitter, and I try to put things in there that will help you out. All right, let me go back to Nansen here. So, we talked about large caps. We talked about mid caps. There's even small caps that are under 50 million. Cincy is one that we talked about very early. Nobody was talking about it at the time. We did like a 10x on it, and I posted that one on Twitter as well, or X. And I think we found Cincy without Nansen, but Nansen did give a lot of information that would have allowed other people to get in, around the time that we got in anyway. So, these are the things that you want to use. This is called the token screener. It is live. Like I said, you can go down to the 5-minute and it will show you in real time net flow and, volume, a lot of different things. Microcaps are probably the one, these are going to be a lot more, a lot more active because these are brand new tokens. Anytime you see this little, what is it called? This little seedling emoji, that means the token's brand new. I think that might be within the last 24 to 48 hours, it'll have this little icon. And I do in our Discord, by the way, I don't know if Razor is going to show up. Let me see, maybe Tulip. I do have it set up. Oh, let me do this. Let me grab the contract address on this one. If you ever want to grab a contract address, just go up here, copy address. Of course, this isn't a good one, but I will see if this one alerted in our group, because I do have it coded. Yeah, there it is right there. I do have it coded to where Nansen Smart Alerts comes to our server and it looks for matches and it helps people to find degen plays much more easily. We have about, I don't know how many wallets we have, maybe 150 to 200 wallets that we track through Nansen, and it gets us in plays very early. Let's see, this was 1039. I don't know when this one actually launched. Yeah, that was about right. Sometimes it'll catch the very top if it's just a fake project. So sometimes you'll get a bad one, sometimes you'll get a good one. This one doesn't look like it was a good one at all. But this is how we found swarms. Remember, I just talked about swarms. It was a 200x move. Without Nansen, without Moni, which I haven't talked about Moni in this video yet, but that's like a social integration to be able to look look at what alpha hunters are buying on X. But without those things in our server here on Discord, it would be much more difficult to find these plays. So I'm happy that we have these things to help our members out to make money. But that's just some things that you can consider if you want to check it out. I know I talk a lot about the Discord, but for those that have the money, it is a very powerful tool for you, and you're easily going to make your membership money back within the next couple of months. Okay, let me see what else I can show you here. There's an interesting little panel here called AI Signals that learns the type of tokens that you're looking for. Let's just say we're only looking for Ethereum tokens. And the reason why I would say just look at Ethereum is because it's a very good value right now. Ethereum's way down, which means a lot of those alts are way down. And you might be able to find, something that could pump 10x or more. So you can kind of go through here. If you see something that says a DEX outflow, that means that people are purchasing it. So the tokens are flowing out of the DEX into somebody's wallet, and it'll even tell you what the token's about. It's a utility token within the Maple Finance ecosystem. This is a very interesting one. I mean, I've never seen it before, but 126 million market cap, very low market cap. The DEX volume over the last 24 hours, 704K. 704K. So it's almost a million volume for, I guess this is a fairly new token. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'd have to look more into it. Maybe it's been around for a while, but you're seeing some interest in it, right? I mean, if we click in, this is how you find tokens you wouldn't have known about, right? In the past, people always use like a volume screener to, on TradingView or whatever, they want to see what tokens are getting volume. But wouldn't it be so much better if you knew that successful traders that were labeled smart wallets or smart money traders, if you knew what they were buying? I mean, that's what Nansen's all about. If you knew they were buying syrup right now, and they're considering it a bottom possibly, then that gives you information that if you like this token, if it looks good to you, if you have a lot of faith in the smart money wallets, if they've got a big P&L, or they're known for buying things when they're at a heavy discount and then selling it at the highs, then maybe this would be one that you'd want to buy. But this is the information that Nansen gives you, and it allows you to make better decisions. So that's another feature there. You can look at AI signals. It'll tell you exactly what it does right here. Nansen's done a very good job of, giving you help areas that you can hover over so you know exactly what you're looking at. I'm trying to think of what else I was going to... Oh yeah, DEX inflow. So if you see DEX inflow, that means that the tokens are going back to the DEX. That means somebody's selling them. So that's what those two different, the terminology means there. So if we click on smart money, I'm just going to show you a few things here that'll help you if you decide to get Nansen, to kind of get you jump started to where you can start doing your own research. Many people in our Discord group have Nansen, but if you join our Discord group, you don't have to have it. We've got signals there for you to where if you don't want to have to purchase Nansen, you don't have to. So there's a couple different options there. This is smart money, seeing who are the best smart money traders. It'll give you a little thing talking about what the table is showing you for realized versus unrealized P&L. And you can actually dig down into these wallets and see that realized, unrealized. But you can also flip back and forth here and see it. So, a lot of these are funds, but what you'd want to do if you saw something like this, if you were, trying to find exactly what you were looking for, maybe you want to do something like 180-day smart trader. You want to find somebody that holds on to their tokens longer. And so we're going to filter that a little bit. We also want to see something like, I want to see a minimum win rate of 30%. And then I also want to see, maybe a realized P&L. A realized P&L of 1 million maybe. And that's a good starting point. And now it's going to filter this down for you to where you don't have to look at so many wallets. And you can see a lot of these are ones that we have tagged. So they're very good wallets. But here's somebody that has 45 million total P&L, which is the realized is about the same amount. Their ROI is 28%, win rate 38%, and they've done a ton of trades. So maybe you don't want somebody that does so many trades. So you're going to go down here and you're going to look, or you could even, set it up like this, where you just want to look at people that don't do too many trades. And so I'm just going to kind of reverse look at it here and see what it shows me. Sometimes it takes a little while to load up just because there's so much data there. But once you do get it loaded up, here we go right here. So, this person here's only had 28 trades. Their ROI is almost, 900%. Their realized P&L is 1.2 million. And you can hover over here and just see some of the tokens that they've been trading. So it's like ETH, Pepe, SPX. And just remember that I'm only looking, I'm looking at 3 different chains here. So I'm looking at Ethereum, Base, and Solana. And so now you've got a lot of information at your fingertips. Here's some really good win rates, 77%, 71. I mean, these are extremely good, to see something like that. So maybe these are the wallets you want to look at. They got 8 million P&L. I'm going to click in, and we're just going to see, it seems like this person trades in and out pretty often. I mean, you can even see the time of day that they trade and their transactions per hour. That is a lot. Oh, I must accidentally click something here. Anyway, you can see the exact tokens they've been trading. You can even go in. Let me see if I can. I wonder if they have moved all of their tokens. Actually, looks like they've moved their tokens somewhere else. Let me find you somebody better here. Here's one, maybe. I want to find somebody that, we can actually look at their P&L more closely. Okay, so realized P&L, 151K, win rate 33%. You're going to get some data up here about their most recent trades or their most successful trades. This is the P&L tab. And then here's where you can look at realized versus unrealized. So realized gains, they did a 3x or so, 3 to 4x win right here on OXO. And you can look at their unrealized, and basically this is just looking to see what they're holding currently. So they're holding ETH, they're holding Serve. That's a funny way to play on words for tennis. But you can also look at 180 day, 30 day, 7 day. I mean, over 180 days, they've been very successful, right? You got a lot of realized gains where they actually took profits, but they're also, they've been holding these as well. They held DSYNC for a while. I think they got rid of it since then though. But yeah, I mean, this is just one example. There's a whole lot more that you can look at. It will help you out a lot. I mean, you can even manage the labels and you can save it to your watch list. And then once you do that, I would say go back and watch my alert video. And I think I'm going to wrap up here because we're getting pretty deep into this. But once you add them to your watch list, these wallets that you like, and like I said, our Discord, I think I've got 47 pages here on our watch list. And I think that's maybe 470 wallets now that I think of it. So it took us a long time to put all these wallets together to find the very best ones for us, the ones that work best for us. And, I've got 47 pages here, and I think there's 10 on each page. So anyway, we look for high net worth wallets. Some of these are a little bit lower because they haven't been trading as much or they moved to another wallet. So we have to check in on these every once in a while. But once you have your watch list set up, then you go to Smart Alerts, and here we've got a bunch of alerts set up, and you can go in, make a new alert, go to Advanced, Token Transfer, and then here's where you would set it up to, see, like if I wanted to set up a thing that would, tell me if somebody's buying something, that I would always choose to. I want to see the tokens that are coming to their wallet. But you can also do things like specific tokens. I mean, there's so much you can do. What I would say though is check out that tutorial alert video that I did just a few weeks ago, and I will put it down in the comments if you missed it. And then that way you can watch through that because it goes much more into detail on exactly how to set this up. You can set it up to where it shows up on your Discord. If you do a private Discord for yourself, I'll show you the whole thing. I want you to know exactly how I do things, so you can do them yourself. And I think that's pretty much all I want to show. I mean, there's so much more to Nansen, but you really have to pick and choose what you want to do, because it's hard to, here's another thing I do want to show you before we stop. But it's hard to want to do it all in the same day. You need to decide which ones work best for you, whether you're looking at, DGen plays or long-term holds, whatever it may be. So here we've got token popularity by user tier. So, you got free users. There are some free features with Nansen that you can use if you sign up. There's Pioneer users. That's kind of like the entry level. And there's professional users, which professional users, I found out from a dev today, are going to get something very specific. I can't say what it is yet, but they're going to get something very specific that it's going to make it much better than the Pioneer. But you do pay a lot more for professional. So as soon as that information is released, I will release it as well so that you know what it is. But this is kind of like the Mindshare view, right? So if we want to look at the rank change over the last, we can even do last 24 hours, we can see what people are most interested in buying. And free users looks like they want to buy Mantra because it's gone down so much. But you've also got things like Sand, Bitcoin, and then over here on the Pioneer users, you got a couple new tokens here at the top. One called Drawify, Starknet, Ghibli, which we actually found Ghibli before it did its pump. I don't know if did I post that? I think I actually posted that we found Ghibli. Remember when everybody was changing their PFPs and changing their, just changing images to Ghibli images? Well, we found it here because of our alerts on our Discord before it pumped. And you do have to be watching closely. I mean, you can't just have something like this fall into your lap. You actually have to be watching on our Discord when these alerts come in. So this was a 50x move when the market wasn't doing much. To be able to make a 50x move is pretty crazy. Yeah, Eigen, Fartcoin, Popcat, House. And then over here for professional users, the rank change lately looks like Cyberwish is one that's maybe pumped a little bit recently, brand new token. Looks like they're a little bit interested in buying Mantra. So now you can log in each day. If you're just curious what people are buying, whether it's 24 hours, 7 days, whatever it may be, you could just look at the top 3 maybe and say, okay, maybe I want to look at those tokens and see, see if smart money is really interested in those, if they're accumulating those. Of course, on these new ones that have the seedling emoji, you got to be pretty quick on those. You have to buy them when the alert first pops up. And then just to wrap it up here, we can just see, here's some more information, some on-chain information you can get only through Nansen. You can see the percent change on certain key metrics on certain chains and see which ones are most active. So over the last 7 days, as far as the active addresses goes, Ethereum's down about 3%. I mean, we can sort this and just say, okay, which one looks like Optimism is the most active. There's more active addresses recently. Then you got IOTA, Base, Algorand, Mantle, Gravity. And then as far as transactions specifically, you've got Unichain, IOTA, CeeLo, Near, Blast. Those are the top 5. So you're starting to see more activity there. And then fees. I think Ethereum fees are still way down. Yeah, really you want to look at the opposite of this, I believe. Yeah, Berachain fees are way down, Arbitrum, Polygon. So this would give you a quick snapshot to where you don't have to go looking for this information. It's just right there for you, and it will help you out. I think it's interesting as far as, if I'm just looking at things that I want to take away from this, I think it's interesting that Ethereum is still down there. It's still kind of struggling, not many new active addresses, but it's at a huge discount. So these are the things I want to look at. Just like Mike Maloney says, if you've ever watched him, he buys things that are undervalued and then he sells them when they're overvalued. And that's what I want to do. That's my philosophy when it comes to, buying and selling anything really, but especially crypto. Okay, well, let's wrap it up there. I hope this was informative. I hope it is helpful to you. Again, all those links are below in the description if you want to join our Discord, if you want that 10% off on Nansen, if you want to check out Engineering Robo for 7 days, or if you are more of a social type, alpha hunter type person, then we have Moni for 15% off, and I'm affiliates with these two. They wanted to partner with me. So, I use these tools every day, by the way. So it's not just something that I'm out there selling for somebody, for some group. I actually believe in these products, and I want you to use them if you have the money to use them. If you don't, just keep watching my Twitter. I will try to continue to post free things as I have time. But I do believe we are going to pump at the very least by next month, early next month. I think it will find a bottom or get moving this month. And I actually did say that the bottom was near just a few days ago, and I believe it's already in, or maybe we have just one more little small dip and then things go again. So again, I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything I didn't cover that you'd like to see. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll do another one of these maybe this week, but definitely next week. All right, take care.